Good scrimmage on Saturday, our first one of the fall camp. Thought the offense was got the better or upper hand, I guess you would call it that, on the defense. Outperformed them, and which is probably the first time that's happened throughout fall camp in that extended amount of plays. So that was good to see as well. But and I thought our defense responded really well today to that. So it's a typical back and forth, but. Being the first full scrimmage, it's really most amount of live tackling that we've done. Tackling was okay, needs to get better, and which is usually the case in that first one. And then I did think our offensive line blocked well. I thought we threw the ball well, ran the ball well, and then had a little bit of lull on offense, and defense started making plays, and started doing things the way I expect them to. So it was good. Good to have that opportunity for us. A lot of good special teams work as well. Just got to keep improving as a football team and moving forward. So questions?
Tom, you been around a long enough time to know that usually that's not the case in the first scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the defense is ahead of the offense. So if you could maybe on that offensive side of the ball, just tell me maybe who stood out for you and turn your head a little bit.
Well, I thought, first of all, which is huge, I thought all three quarterbacks played well. And I think that's where it kind of starts, in terms of just the rhythm and throwing the ball on time and doing a good job of getting the ball to a lot of different guys. And then for that to happen, the offensive line, I thought did some good things. Thought that we were physical on the offensive line. And something we've been emphasizing, working really hard on, and just that unit playing well. And I thought they did some good things there. But just the timing on offense, and you've kind of seen that kind of coming. I felt like the last couple of days, with the things that we do, with the routes on air and all the things with the timing of our receivers and our tight ends. I think I like our tight end room. I like our receiver room. Running backs, we got several guys there as well. So I just think as a collective group, they kind of put it all together, and which is what you want to see. And I also think that the defense, sometimes when and they kind of had dominated for several days in a row, then I think you have that unfortunate human nature to let up a little bit maybe and think it's going to go as it's been, and it wasn't that way. So, and then they start making plays, and then it just you have to see who responds to that. So I think it was a little bit of, I thought our offense did a really good job executing, and I thought our defense probably wasn't as sharp as they needed to be.
You mentioned the quarterbacks, obviously. Just what do you like about what you're getting, especially from Michael and Jack right now? How have you seen them progress as far as how is that throwing the ball, their leadership, how Michael's moving around?
Well, I would say those both you just mentioned, how they're throwing the ball and their leadership, to me are the things that kind of stick out. I think both of them are doing a good job of verbally, within their areas of responsibilities, they're doing a good job verbally leading, and then just throwing the ball with confidence, and on time, and getting the ball out quick and making good decisions, knowing where the ball needs to go based on the coverage that they're getting, and even Donovan McCauley, same thing, kind of almost surprisingly because he's so young, but and he's one that when it's live, I know they're never going to get tackled, but when it's full move the ball, playing football, his legs can become a variable. With the team more spread out, then I think he's even more effective, So, I thought Jack and Michael have done a good job. They've had a good fall camp, and it showed on Saturday.
Did any running back separate on Saturday? And then we didn't see David Ellis out there today. What's his status?
Yeah, he lower leg injury for David during the scrimmage. I don't think it's anything serious, but he'll be out for a few days, and we'll kind of monitor that one. But I expect him to be back. But yeah, he wasn't out there today. But Stephen Carr, I think was pretty. It was pretty obvious. Yeah, he's a good back. He's got a lot. And the thing about him is he does a lot of things well. He obviously can run the football, but he can pass pro, and he has really good hands and just understands football. He's played a lot of football and understands how to run. Just some guys have that knack to him. So, yeah, he did some good things for sure.
Tom, talking about the running game and what have you, assess the development of the offensive line. How sound has it been, and where that's going leading up to Iowa, protection for Michael and for Jack?
Yeah, I think it was, like I said, I thought that was a really good sign on Saturday for their progress. Still, it's always something you're always working on, and we do a lot of things on defense, and so it makes it really hard on them, especially early on. And and we tried to, scale some of that back a little bit on Saturday, not completely, but in certain situations we did, just so we can find out who is really able to just line up and block the guys in front of them, And so we did that by design. But I feel like that just the physicality of the group has improved. It's just about communication and the guys communicating together and working together and moving through that. But it's constantly applying pressure to them, and not letting them have any ounce of let up. And that was really the focus for today, for myself and the coaches as well. So, but yeah, that's a group that we're counting on, and we got a lot of guys back in that unit, and expecting guys to step up and elevate their play, and we're making progress. We're definitely not where we need to be yet, but we've got 7 more days to get it fixed.
Griffin and Dylan.
Coach, doing a story right now on Mike and his return, just kind of on the field and off the field perspective here. How has he impressed you in his growth in his time with this program and coming back from yet another injury? What do you expect from him this season and just on and off the field?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, as I've said in the past regarding the injuries, as hard as they are and as difficult as they, the process of going through the rehab, it's lonely. It's physically painful, It's a long, hard process, especially the kind of injuries he's had. It develops grit. I mean, there's no way around it. You have perseverance and passion towards what you want, and his long-term goal is clear. And he's really, been put in some tough spots. But we gave a challenge to our players last week, in our nightly meetings about just how those things in life, we call it being, maybe the rough side of the mountain that you have to climb. It's very difficult during the process of the climb, but it makes you into who you are. And none of us like it, but he's embraced it, and that's the key. And I think when you say that word embrace, and I use that word a lot in different situations because it's a choice that you make, that you understand that, yeah, this is difficult, this is hard, this is what I got to do to get where I want to get and be what I want to be, And so, and I think it matures us, and it gives us perspective. You have something that you love and it's taken from you, and he's had that happen multiple times, and that creates a perspective that you don't usually get if you don't have the opportunity to go through it. And we definitely would never choose these situations. I know he wouldn't either, but it's allowed him to really have, an edge about him and a confidence to him and just, resolve that you have to be great in this game and be great in this life, So I think he's grown as a leader, and he's naturally very quiet. He doesn't. I don't think he would probably rather not, put himself out there in some of these situations. But that's what the position demands, and so we've seen growth in that area as well, especially with correcting this and correcting that, and calling guys out and helping these guys be accountable. And he's always had the natural, just the confidence, in who he is. But to me, it's all the other stuff, and that's what I've seen out of him. And it's just, because of the injuries, it's forced him to continue to develop a lot of toughness.
Dylan and them go with Bozic and Zoom.
You talked about Donovan and his ability with his legs. We've seen his ability with his arm in practice. Is there any thought to putting him on the field for some plays this year just to give the defense a different look?
I wouldn't rule it out. I think that, he's a guy that has talent. He's up 215 pounds, and he's gained a lot of good weight this summer, and he's still thin, and lean and going to get bigger, so, and has a lot of confidence, in what he can do. So, yeah, you never know. We'll see how he keeps developing, but that would be something that, is a possibility for sure.
All right, Rick, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, a few minutes before you started, the AP released its preseason football poll, which is the last one before the season begins. Indiana ranked 17th. Just wanted to get your reaction to that. Okay,
yeah, I didn't know that. It's preseason poll, so it just doesn't mean anything in regards to the season and, how we perform or any outcomes of the games, but just a testament to where we are as a program, I guess, by perception, by those that made those decisions, but using that to me as ammunition with our team just to be able to continue to block out the noise and obviously positive noise, but block it out nonetheless. And people can have their opinions about whether that's right or not. It really doesn't really matter. So, but I just know that our program is perceived a certain way right now, and we just have to continue to fight every day to keep getting better because, September 4th is coming, and we got a lot of work to do.
Jim and Tom.
I know the simple answer is improvement, but you saw what you saw at the first scrimmage this week, which gives you a view on where you are. The next scrimmage, I'm sure you have benchmarks where you'd like to be. What are those benchmarks? What do you want to see next Saturday? What do they need to do this week to get to where you want them to be?
Yeah, so we really mapped that out yesterday with our staff and gave that charge to our players and really emphasized the value of each and every day moving to that point. Because after that second scrimmage, it's really pretty much, we're not in game week yet, but we are out of fall camp, after that second scrimmage. And so to me, it's about establishing, a good identity of what we can hang our hat on schematically and who we can hang our hat on, and that's the players in the depth chart, at each position, and feeling good about, our 1s, 2s, and 3s and who those guys are, in those spots. And that will obviously always be evaluated weekly. But at the same time, when you finish that second scrimmage, you want to know, and I want to be able to challenge our coordinators and say, okay, this is what we feel good about. This is what we can execute on both sides of the football and special teams. And then these are the guys that can execute it to the best of what we expect from our team. So those would be the two key objectives, and then at that point you take a couple days to review a few things, and then you start getting ready. Mid-week of that following week after second scrimmage, you start getting ready for Iowa.
Tom, we've talked a lot really in the last year or two about the depth of this team really kind of being at a level it hadn't been at in a long time, if ever. When you watched the scrimmage on Saturday with the 2s and the 3s out there, I mean, were you pleased with what you were seeing, or is there an obvious drop-off, or no?
Well, there's definitely more good players. I still feel like that in my opinion, I feel like that the O-line and D-line is still something that we have to keep working on. Just to say having, 1s, 2s, and 3s of guys that are Big Ten caliber guys, at those positions. I don't feel like that's the case yet, but it's getting closer every year. And so we have some positions where we feel like, we're getting to that level, but, I want to see us that way across the board, but that's the challenge without question. So there's no doubt you can see the depth is there. I mean, we've had years where we couldn't even have 3s, even have a good scrimmage with those guys in there, in regards to a lot of different variables. And so I just think that's a testament to what we're able to do with that and the recruiting piece and the player development, everything we're trying to accomplish with it. So bottom line is that we making progress, but O-line, D-line would be the two areas that stick out to me.
Yeah, how's everything else health-wise at this point? And, I think I saw CO in street clothes. Is he okay? Or
Yeah, he should be back, So you're going to get guys dinged up in different situations, So, but I feel we got a couple other guys that were out from Saturday, before Saturday, that we should hopefully get back tomorrow, which is good. And so that's just an ongoing thing of just guys that goes back to what we just asked about the depth. When you have the depth and you have the ability to weather those guys getting, missing a practice or two or a week or whatever it happens to be for a certain situation, or even more than that, and some guys. But got to keep recruiting, keep developing our players.
Coach, in your scouting and film evaluation of Iowa so far, what really jumps off the page to you? What do they do well? And in what areas does your team have to be disciplined come September 4th?
Well, we've obviously spent a lot of time on them over the summer, and in the springtime, haven't as much in the last, 10 days. But, I just know that from what I watched and what I saw and have seen for previous years is just a really, really physical football team, and they make it hard on you. They don't necessarily do a lot of things on defense, but what they do really, really well. They always got really good size and a lot of length, and they make it really difficult to run the ball, and their windows to throw are compressed, And so then offensively, it's just, once again, starts up front. Their offensive line play is very consistent, and it doesn't seem to really matter who's in there. They just rotate them in, and a lot of similar builds, a lot of similar body types. You know, it's kind of indicative of a team and a program that's been in place for so long, and the coaching staffs have been in place for so long. They just have certain body types of guys they recruit for each position. So it just seems like the numbers change, but the production and just running back, they got a really good running back and talented tight ends like they always do, and a really good quarterback that's young but very, very talented, and you know, receivers that can make plays, but they're going to run the football, you know, so they're going to do that, and then they play action off of that and everything else that they do. So they don't beat themselves. That sticks out to me. You know, they make you have to execute and try to do things without making mistakes. And if you make a mistake, they make you pay. You know. So and then in the special teams, they got a great punt returner and specialists. Their punter's phenomenal, and they always have, you know, high level. So just really good football team. That's the reason why they're, you know, one of the top teams in this conference every year.
That's the last one.
Talked a lot about Michael's leadership. How have you seen his mechanics improve over time? It seems like he throws a much more catchable football. He's always had the velocity. How do you think he's?
Yeah, I think he's had a little more touch in the deep ball. You know, it's kind of been a big focus, and being able to throw a more catchable ball at times. You know, he can throw. I guess when you're young, you're trying to throw the fastball all the time. You learn how to have different tempos. You know, to be able to, because throwing a catchable ball is really the key. You know, but obviously the zip and the quickness of the release obviously allows the defense to have minimal time to react, which is huge, you know. So, but and your receivers get adjusted as well. So you got to have strong hands to catch his balls. But and our guys have adjusted to that. But yeah, I think that's probably the deep ball accuracy has been something we've worked on, and he's worked on, and he's always had a really good intermediate. That's kind of been his strength for sure since he first got here. But he just got he can make all those throws now.